So if you think that Diablo 4 is a dead game or D4 bad, you might be surprised with what they have cooking for Vessel of Hatred coming out in a couple months here. So over the last few days, I've been going through pretty much anything I can get my hands on related to the Spiritborn and the Vessel of Hatred expansion. And there's quite a few things that were kind of hidden within videos and stuff that I don't know if they were supposed to be there or not, but it's got me really curious. We can gather some insight about things that they're getting ready to announce, when we might get those announcements, and some pretty crazy changes coming to Diablo 4. So they released this Diablo 4 inside the game, the Spiritborn video, which it focuses a lot on the developers just talking about the class, how it came to be, that kind of stuff. When we get a little bit further than halfway through the video, we start seeing stuff like this, where we see this experience bar. And if you look at it, it's a max level experience bar, but it doesn't have a number on it anymore because I'm guessing they didn't want to reveal what the max level is in Vessel of Hatred. But more curious, we get to this point where it shows 60 with a 1 in parentheses. What does that mean? I have no idea. It kind of reminds me of Diablo 3 and their Paragon system, where you got to max level, which was 70, and then you started earning Paragon on top of that. So you can tell by the art style here that this definitely isn't final because it's not centered, it doesn't look right within the UI element. I'm sure that's just how it is for now. It'll get fixed by the full launch of the game, but it makes me wonder, is 60 the new level cap? And then we're going to start getting Paragon in a different way once we pass level 60? That doesn't really seem likely, but it is possible. And we do also see here on the skill tree, available points 69. They only show it for a second, but that does line up with 10 new base levels. So whether that's going to be from 50 to 60 and then a new form of Paragon, or just boosting the max level up to 110 and we start earning Paragon points later, it could go either way. Or it could go a completely different way that we just have no idea yet. And as always, these videos are always tagged with in development content, not final. So this really could mean anything or it could mean nothing at all. Now, during these developer interviews that they had with Rax and Woody and MacroBioBoy, multiple times during the course of these interviews, I don't remember which one exactly it was, I think possibly all three of them, there were hints dropped to reveals in August. For example, one of the content creators asked about crafting, and the developer replied something along the lines of, "Oh, crafting's a deep well," and then quickly followed up by saying, "I can't wait until August." Now, we know that Gamescom is in August, and we know that they're planning on being there, and that's probably when we're going to get the reveals of the new major co-op endgame dungeon, the raids, which also several of the content creators mentioned the raids by name. And while the developers never acknowledged them, they also never corrected them or said, "Oh, we don't have raids," or anything like that. So that could go either way, but the fact that they didn't say anything makes me think that they're at least raid adjacent. And then in this Wowhead article, they went through several of Rob's videos that he had posted about the Spiritborn during his testing a couple weeks ago. What I find really funny about this is Rob made these videos, but didn't realize what was in them until Wowhead watched the videos, noticed these things, and then posted a blog about it. So we know that there's an endgame co-op dungeon, which according to the data mines, sounds like it's going to be raids. The word raid was found in the game files back in October of last year. While going through the materials tab on the version of Vessel of Hatred that they were playing during the playtest, it was noticed that there's a new currency called Citadel coin, earned from the Dark Citadel, which is the name of the endgame dungeon, used to purchase items from the Citadel vendor. So it sounds like from doing these dungeons, you're going to earn these coins, and then you can spend the coins on rewards. What those are going to be, whether they're gear or consumables or who knows, that's how we're going to get those. Additionally, there was also an item seen called the Khazra Horn, earned from the Dark Citadel, used to transmute high-level boss materials. So this could tie into the endgame boss ladder like we have in today's game, but in some kind of more meaningful way. I don't really know. It's all speculation at this point. And then in another blog post, which came from the same Rob video, they also found a new currency called Pale Marks, which is going to tie into the new crafting system potentially, but also ties into the new Mercenary system. So these Pale Marks say they're used to purchase trade agreements and barter for items in the Mercenary Den, earned from increasing your rapport with mercenaries and completing various activities with a mercenary after bartering has been unlocked. Bartering becomes available upon reaching rank 5 rapport with any mercenary. So it sounds like we're going to have some sort of reputation meter with the new mercenaries, which I think is kind of cool. You could get rewarded for playing one extensively. Maybe you get rewarded for playing all of them in various situations. But the part here that's a little confusing is used to purchase trade agreements and barter for items in the Mercenary Den. So why would we use Pale Marks to buy trade agreements, to use trade agreements to barter for items? Why not just barter with the Pale Marks? Or why not just drop trade agreements? Why is there a distinction there? Why do we have two different items? So one theory that I have is maybe you use these Pale Marks to buy the trade agreements, but then the trade agreements work basically as a recipe. Like in Diablo 3, we had Kanai's Cube, and it had a bunch of different recipes. I think it had like 13 to 15 different recipes. Maybe that's what these trade agreements are. Maybe you use the Pale Marks to buy the trade agreement, and then the trade agreement has a list of things that you need to collect in order to use that recipe. And then it also makes mention of a mercenary den. So it sounds like the mercenaries themselves are going to have a specific location in the world that you have to go to engage with them, possibly where you hire them, and maybe each one has their own den. We don't know. So we're near the end of July now, and we know Gamescom is the end of August. I believe August 21st through 25th or something like that. And I'm guessing Diablo is going to be pretty high profile there, so probably towards the beginning. So I think we're about a month away from getting a lot of juicy information.